Have you talked with your kids about social media? If you're a parent in North America, chances are social media is a huge part of your kid's life. According to a recent study about teens and the internet, 95% of teenagers use the internet. 74% of 12 to 17-year-olds are mobile internet users, and 81% are on social media sites. If your kid is a part of the 81%, don't panic, but just make a plan. Doctor's orders. I'm referring to the advice given in the most recent report from the American Academy of Pediatrics, the AAP. And I quote, "Model active parenting by establishing a family home use plan for all media. As part of the plan, enforce a mealtime and bedtime curfew for media devices, including cell phones, and establish reasonable but firm rules about all phones, texting, internet, and social media use." The funny thing is this report isn't from Focus on the Family or some ultra-conservative Christian group. This is a bunch of secular doctors who understand the health of young people today. And their recommendation is to get involved in our kids' media lives, dialogue with them, and set some fair guidelines for entertainment, media, and technology. Now, have you talked with your kids about social media? Do you know what social media sites they use regularly? Are you aware if they're accessing technology late at night? Do you know who they're talking with? Now, I don't ask these questions just to frighten you, but to honestly nudge you to consider the ramifications if you don't know the answers. Believe me, I've seen the horror stories. Let's consider the doctor's advice and be active parents. Try these 4 tips on how we can become aware and involved in your kids' social media use. Tip number 1, try it yourself. If your kid wants an Ask.fm profile, give it a check and see for yourself. That's what I did when I heard about Ask.fm. Ask.fm was a popular social media venue where young people commonly establish an online profile so anonymous strangers can ask them anything they want. I typed in a random name, and the first thing that popped up was the profile of a young girl. I started reading some of the anonymous questions that they were getting. And question number 6 they got was "Are you a lesbian?" Question number 8, "Hey, you're a hottie. Do you like sex?" And the questions went on and on. Is this a site you really want your kid on? The rule of thumb is it's not good to navigate applications where you talk with strangers. It's Ask.fm, Omegle.com, etc. Sadly, young people are increasingly seeking apps on social media venues where they can be anonymous. Honestly, do you find that surprising? Teens want a lack of accountability. If your kid wants to download an app on social media site, don't overreact. Just take a peek at the site with them and make an informed decision together. Tip number 2, use privacy settings. Most responsible social media sites offer privacy settings. Take Instagram, for example, the popular photo sharing app, which was one of the fastest growing smartphone apps last year. You can easily set up your Instagram account so that only your followers can view your pictures. This is a nice feature, ensuring that some creepy, hairy, naked guy in the basement isn't browsing through all of your daughter's pictures that she just took at her friend's pool party. Take advantage of privacy settings. This helps your kids engage with the people they choose to engage with, not any random creeper. Tip number 3, turn off location services. Most social media platforms offer the opportunity to access the location of your child's device whenever they post anything. For example, if your daughter is in a late night study group at Tim Hortons with her friends and she tweets "studying for my stupid history test with Ashley and Lindsay," if her location services are active, then that tweet will show exactly where she is. Do you think it's a good idea for your daughter to post where she's about to walk to her car in a dark parking lot? The solution is simple. Go into your phone settings, turn off the location services for those apps. But be careful not to turn off location services for the entire phone, because location services are handy when you want to use the phone's Find My iPhone feature to find your child if they're out past their curfew. Tip number 4, have the passcodes. This is an easy rule to enforce when your 12-year-old is begging you for the newest iPhone. And you say, sure, but I'll always have the passcodes. You'll still have the bargaining chips at that point. This will be so much harder to enforce your 17-year-old 5 years after they've already had their phone and believes that you're violating their First Amendment rights each time you walk into a room. So start young and establish a family media use plan where parents have all passwords and all passcodes. This isn't an invasion of their privacy. This is just good parenting. The doctors in the AAP report mentioned above recommending parents to establish reasonable but firm rules, a bedtime curfew for media devices, and a mealtime where the doors of dialogue are open so kids and parents can talk about real-life issues. Here's some questions to discuss. Are you creating this kind of caring climate in your home? Are you seeking that balance between reasonable but firm? Which side do you err on? How's that working out? Thank you so much for watching this YouTube video, Parenting Tips. You can find our last parenting tip right here, and be sure to subscribe to the 936 to make sure you don't miss out on any other videos.